I'll start it by simply reminding you, is this good?
Not much.
All right, thank you. By reminding you that white guard belts have nothing to do with white guard belt. Exo and I have kind of separated this talk. He talked about what happened in Norfolk. I'm going to focus on what happened as we got underway. And as I think about that, the world has gone around many, many times since we got that ship underway. And as I see myself, I am now in the twilight of my years. And I look back with incredible pride of what we did, you did. And as the XO pointed out, was virtually nothing. I still remember our motto. We picked that motto. That motto was duty, honor, excellence. XO talked about that excellence. The difference is we lived it. It was part of us. When the team was in Pascagoula, we went down with some of the key senior petty officers. Our job there, and I headed up that part with Master Chief Lopez. XO, as he talked about, was up here with schooling, training, filling all that out with Master Chief Claiborne. The idea was we were supposed to go to Pascagoula to learn the ship. Brand new ship, nothing like it. So we had to learn it. But we decided no, we're going to do more than that, not just learn it. So what we did is we learned the ship, but ships are built to specs. There's a certain way they're built. It's all written down. We studied all those specs. So we knew the specs and what was expected of that yard better than that yard, and we held them responsible and to every spec. They'd be building, and if it wasn't right, we'd say, wait a minute, that's not right. Oh, what do you mean? Well, it's okay. No, for us, it's not okay. It has to be the way it's supposed to be. And finally, they understood we were serious. They took us serious, and the ship was built right. There are events we all remember. I remember many, many events of that ship. But I remember, or will share with you, 4 in particular that I think talk to who we were and what we are. And I mean that, what we are. A ship is simply a lot of things. What makes a ship is the people, is the sailors, the Marines. They embark a spirit, they embark a life to it, and they embark an ethos, a feeling. There was simply nothing that was going to hold us back. So after we went through all this training, we had to come back to Norfolk to go through some tests. We left on a Friday. I remember we got the ship underway, and we had to go through a very narrow channel to get out into sea. First time the ship underway. The ship is, we call it a beam, but the ship's beam is 105 feet. The channel we were going through was 150 feet, that narrowest part. We had to get out from the shipyard so we could get out to open water. So we're on the bids the first time we're getting underway, and BM3 Ratliff is on the helm. And we're steaming, we're getting underway, and next thing I know, we get a call on the 21MC from Commander Hansen, the chief engineer. Captain, we're losing vacuum on number 1 engine. I don't know if I can hold it. We're right at the narrowest part. I said, Jim, try to hold it. Try to hold it. This is a bad place. Seconds later, we've lost the vacuum. I look over to Ratliff. I said, mark your head. He said, 153 coming right, sir. The channel course is 150. We have hardly any room to maneuver. I said, Ratliff, hold it. He said, Captain, I've got it. I said, come left. 149. And that was it. And that's who we were. And that's how we were. And that's how we started. A situation tough, no telling where, but we just handled it like that. Commander Hansen called back very quickly, a couple minutes later, and said, okay, we restored it. Captain, I'm not sure what happened, but that's who we were. If there was a situation, a problem, we dealt with it, and we dealt with it now. The next thing I remember is another example. We got out and we were in the Gulf of Mexico, Saturday. Terrific day. Some of you remember the Gulf, it was just beautiful. So on the bridge, XO, Master Chief Lopez, and myself. And one of the signalmen says, Captain, boy, what a day. Tomorrow's Sunday. Wouldn't it be terrific if we had Steel Beach, we had a picnic? We had nothing. We had no barbecues, we had no charcoal, we had nothing. XO looked at Master Chief, said, Master Chief, can you make some barbecue, some burners, barbecue, whatever they're called? He said, XO, can you get some charcoal? XO looked at me and said, Captain, can we have the helicopter? And Sunday, we had a barbecue at sea. First time out. That's who we were and are. There's a picture up here that reminds me a lot about our life and about our Navy. And I'll show you that picture. And I just come up and take a look at it because it really tells a lot about our Navy and about our life and what we do. This is us here, brand new ship. This over here is a Coral Sea. I call that picture the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. That's us, brand new ship, you guys coming in, starting out. The other ship, and we were rendering honors, XO was rendering honors to that ship, that's the Coral Sea. She had just been in to Norfolk to offload ammunition, and she was going away to be put out of commission. The beginning and the end, the continuation. And that's what this is all about. This is about keeping something alive, a continuation. The last one that I'll speak to you about is shock. You see the pictures there. Every new ship, some of you may not know this, but every new ship has to be tested. And what's the best way to test it? You want to put it through, try to blow it up, that's right. That's exactly what they do. And I'll tell you how they do it. 10,000 pounds of explosives, 1,000 feet down. And you do it 3 times. The first distance is at 1,200 feet. The second one's at 600. The last one's at 300. That's what we had to do. So, the first one, 1,200 feet, away, it goes up. Ship's 42, well, she wasn't fully loaded, so she's about 43,500 tons. So Magnificent Wash shakes it off. XO and I and Master Chief looked at each other and said, I don't know, that was a pretty good tap. Well, the next time, now we go from 1,000 feet, 600 feet, and the charge is 1,000 feet down. The second one goes off, and you're doing them a day apart. Second one goes off, a few lights go out, the mast comes down. The mast was knocked off. Well, now you want something to get your attention. Now the next one, you're going to half the distance. And we're thinking, this is going to be interesting. And then we had some magnificent people again step forward. Commander Hansen was in main engineering space. There was no one with the sailors in the after space, and it's tight. Remember Captain Colbus? He said, I'll go down there. He went down there. Young sailors in the shaft alley. How old were we? 17? You guys? Some of you 17, 18, 19? Yeah. You're down in the after steering, and that's down below where the explosive is. And you're down there alone, and you're all buttoned up in there. Chaplain said, I'll go down with those guys. And he did. And that's how we cared about each other, and that's how we looked after each other. And then now, the explosion, this time, the last one, 300 feet. Now, 10,000 pounds of explosives. And there's a term for explosive. It's called rheons. It means it's a shuffling effect. That's what explosives do. They push. Of course, you're pushing all this water against the hull of the ship, only 300 feet away. So we had to make sure XO is on the phone with main control on a handset. I'm on a handset with the tug because we can't get more than 10 feet off because that would increase that shoving effect so much you'd have to cut it down. So you had to get in between 290 feet or 300 feet. You couldn't be outside, but you could only be inside a little bit. We're at 297. We had NAVC observers, shipyard observers. They said, okay, we're right there. It's a go. It goes off. The shot goes off. There's a picture of the shot over here. You can hardly see the ship, 10,000 pounds. It goes up. I'm on the bridge. First thing I hear is the report comes in, rudder is jammed, 10 degrees left. Now we're coming towards the tug. Tug's going, we got a collision situation going. Next thing, flooding in the shaft alley. Shaft alleys are flooding. We lose the electrical load. You all remember that. Electrical load's gone. Next thing, number 2 boiler is knocked off the foundation. It's out. About that time, I'm in a collision situation, so I grab the phone and I say to the tug, come right, come right. I've lost steering, come right. Now, when the explosion went off, XO had a phone, I had a phone, we had set them down. I grabbed the phone. Next thing I hear is Jim Hansen. What the hell are you talking about, Captain? I'm trying to get these casualties restored. What are you doing? I picked up the wrong phone. Funny now, not so funny then. So I look at XO, And then immediately, almost immediately, we hear manual steering restored. We have steering in manual. Come right, 10 degrees right. Ship's under control. Minute or so later from that, electrical power, emergency generators come on. A couple minutes later, Hansen says, we've got the flood. Of course, it's all damage control. You remember that. Flooding's under control in the after steering in the shaft alleys. And then, within minutes, boiler's back on the line. Captain, ready to answer all bells. Max speed 22 knots. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That's who you are. Nav C and the observers from the shipyard simply could not believe it. They had not ever seen anything like it. So what are the lessons there? What do we do with all this? The lessons, of course, pride. But the real lesson for me is it's not what happens to you in life that matters. It's what you do with what happens to you that's going to make a difference in your life. And that's what we did. We made a difference. So I would ask you when you leave tonight, go with the profound knowledge of splendid service well performed. And with the understanding that you were simply the best. And I would say and ask that the good Lord go with you and watch over you until we're finally called for that last muster by the great C&O in the sky. And all I can tell you is this. I'm simply absolutely proud to have been part of your ship. May God bless you and God watch over you. Thank you for being who you are. Now, I forgot something. I have another.